Choose.
Can I go to Simon for a little while?
One of the big things that's come through from submitters is that we should put up taxes, and we've had that in a variety of ways. Some say we should do it incrementally, others say we should just go to a big jump straight away. You must have, as part of your forward planning and your research, looked into what some of those various models will do for your demand. Patakura Horomia has talked about how it's not predominantly, at least disproportionately low socioeconomic groups that smoke. What does your research tell you happens when taxes go up? Firstly, slowly but surely, and secondly, in a big bang.
In relation to the first question about slowly or incremental increases, yes, smoking instances does decline. If you have a large ad hoc, smoking of formal cigarettes will decline rapidly. But it is our belief that you will also get an incremental increase in illicit trade. To give you an example of this, a recent study in Australia has illicit trade at 12%. If you go back 4 or 5 years ago, illicit trade was around 6%. So a country like Australia, which is well governed, has well established police and customs controls, has a problem now with illicit trade and the growth of illicit trade.
Supplementary to Simon's question, where in New Zealand, where's the illicit trade? Is it from offshore? Is it chop?
There is some being brought in from offshore, mostly TMC being brought in from offshore, but RYO is mostly chop that's being grown within New Zealand.
Who's selling it?
Sorry?
Can you tell us, I see this report, I can't see in it anything as to who's actually selling it.
Yeah.
We believe it's sold through informal sectors, pubs, clubs, those sorts of things.
Can you, and just finally on that issue of illicit trade, I mean, Patakura Horomia's point was, well, look, people die no matter who's selling it. Can you then give us some pros and cons, or put your case, as it were, as to why it's better to have a legal trade coming from you as opposed to an illegal one coming from illicit traders?
Well, I think the first thing is that if you projected 5-10 years forward, if you had a completely illicit trade, you wouldn't have this forum because you wouldn't have a formal sector to talk to. You'll have an illicit trade that is underground, and you won't have a formal sector. The second point is an illicit trade is sold without taxation on it, so there's no government revenue. The illicit trade is sold not in a pack that carries government regulation or government health warnings on it. It's sold in brown paper bags, so there's no control over the process or the process of sale. So I believe those points to your first statement earlier before, you have a formal industry here that you can engage with and you can control. And illicit trade, by its nature, is very difficult to control.
Jim? You're a great salesman. You're deflecting all the way through, so we'll get off the illicit trade.
That's why he's employed.
Can I tell you that in 1964 through to the early 70s, that most 14, 15-year-old Māori smoked was huge. And there are a huge number of them who lost their lives in mid-40s to 50 years old. One of my real concerns, and why I push this lower socioeconomic issue, is that I'm tending to suspect it's happening again, where young women, young girls, 14, young men for that matter, are at it again, are starting to look for other ways out and starting to smoke again. What would you do as a company to ensure that that didn't happen?
I think in our submission we talk about the education for family and peer, and I think education through schools, controlled through a government program, is a key element.
No, not government. Would you finance that? Support Answer that?
Well, taxation on tobacco is approximately
My question is, would your company, with the profits that you make, put your money where your mouth is and support that?
We believe it's government's role to educate.
I believe it's your role too.
No, you cannot jump in. Matilda? And we'll come back to you.
Thanks. What's BAT's strategy around the use of terms like light, mild and fine to describe tobacco products?
Those terms, we've removed those terms from our products.
And why was that?
We in consultation with the New Zealand government.
And so what is the strategy or plans that BAT has for the use of colours on packaging to, for example, lighter colours or different kinds of colours to try to indicate a different kind of tobacco in the same way that lighter, fine and mild? What's the strategy around using colour coding?
Colours are part of our brand, and they offer consumers a navigational process in selecting their brands.
Navigational towards what?
Well, to select which brand they choose within the variants, so which variant within the brand family they choose.
Right. Is there any strategy around using colour coding, as there has been with the use of words like lighter, mild and fine, to indicate, I don't know, tastier or less strong, milder forms?
The colour code represents a variant within the family, and it helps with navigation for consumers.
Again, is it due to navigating consumers around a concept that some of those tobacco products are milder, softer, not as strong as other tobacco products?
Well, consumers choose which variant and which products they like.
But that is the purpose of the strategy.
Well, some
for the use
consumers
of
like
colour
stronger cigarettes, some consumers like weaker cigarettes.
Okay. And so have you?
And
Yep.
sorry, go.
No, you go. Go.
And that's a consumer preference.
Okay. I'm just interested because there has been research around the fact that in the past descriptions for light and mild and fine, for example, suggested to consumers that tobacco products were less harmful when in fact they were not, and that colour coding does the same thing, but without the use of words. Have you got any research or information about that?
Well, the history of lights and milds came around from when governments around the world introduced ISO testing, which was to identify on packs relative strengths of tar and nicotine within different variants. Following the introduction of ISO testing around the world, which was part of the New Zealand government program, tobacco companies have followed with the use of lights and milds. This has led to colour coding of packs, and has led to the situation where we are today, where you have a range of colour coding across a range of variants within a brand family.
You're aware of the research that says that there is no appreciable difference in the harm caused by cigarettes that are described or colour coded as being of less danger.
There is no safe cigarette.
Thank you.
So you sell an unsafe product?
No, there is no safe cigarette. So a light cigarette is no safer than a heavy cigarette in our
But if you say there's no safe cigarette, then it must be the opposite, which is you sell an unsafe.
Tobacco and cigarettes come with significant health risks. We acknowledge that.
Do you think that it is a safe product?
It comes to...
No. Do you think it is a safe product?
Yes or no?
Pretty simple. Okay, I've got your answer.
No, you'd already